You are now listening to the Lasting Legacy Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the Lasting Legacy Podcast. Before we get started today, be sure to give us a thumbs up on this video because, I don't know, just we really appreciate the thumbs up. We appreciate the support from you guys. So we want to see who's actually watching these videos and enjoying them. Today we have a very special guest. We have James Shower. He is BuildTuneRace, High Speed Media. They kind of coexist from what it seems like, but we'll kind of get into that and see what's going on. So thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and the podcast stuff's fun. So
Heck yeah, man. Have you ever been on another podcast?
Not really. I mean, I've done some like live interview type stuff back and forth, but yeah, nothing like sit down official deal like this. So.
Oh, that's exciting, man. That's exciting. I'm David, owner of David Took It, photography, videography. I usually ask the questions around here, so let's just get into it, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I mean, content is where I'm at right now, but it doesn't start there. I mean, you go back about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I went to college for welding, and I got a job out here at Vestas, a local company welding on like wind turbines and all that type of stuff. Started to figure out I didn't want to do the whole corporate deal and all that. So then I was sitting there and we had this meeting. They said, one day, if this doesn't go through, our sales might really drop. And I'd already been through one layoff and all that type of stuff. And I was like, oof, I better start planning something. And I don't want to go work with somebody else if that happens, right? Like I'd like to go do my own thing. So I just kind of set off and started building my own brand, which is the BuildTuneRace, and a lot of car media. YouTube's popular. Everybody's doing it. Let's see what happens, and let's just start creating videos and content and putting it out there. See what happens. Get 5 views, 8 views, 10 views, 100 views. Oh, shoot, you start doing that type of stuff. But, so BuildTuneRace is like that personal brand of mine and the car-related stuff, the stuff I love more than anything. And then I learned that within that, I could help other people do that. So High Speed Media is that, B2B, business-based, helping other businesses do that type of stuff on social media. Post to the Instagram, Facebook pages, creating YouTube content. I travel over and will help companies and businesses create content and stuff like that. So trying to do all of it is kind of a crazy deal. But, as the business grows, hopefully I can hire people to help me do certain facets of it. And that's where we're at, and that's where we're kind of heading. But, Colorado native all my life. Born in Salida, moved to Canyon, grew up there, and then moved to Pueblo, and here I am. So.
Just kept moving down
Highway 50.
Yeah, right.
Just keep moving down Highway 50.
Yeah. Vita, here we come.
So, I don't know if I'm going any further east on this hill, but
I recommend not.
That's funny.
So when did you start doing all that? Like, when was the meeting at Vestas that kind of changed your, like, what year was that about?
Man, it was... I've been out of there a year and a half, and it was 3 years prior to that. So about 4.5, 5 years ago.
Okay. So
and I'd had that job 9 years.
Damn.
So
that's hard to leave.
Yeah.
It's
good
safe.
Pay, great benefits. You tell people you're going to leave that job, and they question. But,
think you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
I can relate.
No, and that's... But
for sure.
So we had this meeting, and I'd already been through one layoff. It was the craziest thing, and like people standing around doing nothing for months, getting paid, and you're just like, that can't exist for very long. Like, you just start taking a step back, and you're, okay. Well, they said, depending on how the politics go and the voting and the tax credits and the breaks and all this stuff, and they even put the business up for sale. So you're like, okay, it's not the building goes up for sale, things are sketchy, but then it moved through and we got a few more years out of that. But from that day, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing something. And what's crazy is if you go back, I've really never said this or publicly kind of pushed it, but as I do these types of things, it's fun to have this. If you go look at Grow Sociable on Facebook, it's an existing thing. That was like my social media business that I was trying to start. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to help people. I hit people up, DM them. Hey, you need help running your social media? I can do this. I can shoot video. I can take this, that type of stuff. Nothing. Just didn't freaking work. Like it just, nope, that ain't going to work. So started listening to different people online. How do you make that stuff work? And you need the attention. So you need to build your personal brand and all that type of stuff. So, okay, cool. BuildTuneRace came about. I'm going to start making videos. I did live video on Facebook, put other business owners within automotive on that live podcast. I would strip the raw, terrible audio from the Facebook Live and throw it on
audio
Anchor
only,
and like let that distribute. Push. And it's out there and stuff like that. I haven't done that for quite some time, but you just get busy with so many things.
For sure.
That started that well, if I can build a brand, I can make something work. Obviously, the big goal at the time was like make YouTube so big
For sure.
that I can just live off of it.
Exactly.
That is so difficult. It is so unbelievably difficult.
And the rules change all the time to
Constantly.
be able to do that.
And you don't want to put everything all in that pot either.
No.
But heading that direction opened up so many opportunities of putting what happened then is to actually leave Vestas and get out of that job is I put a owner of a business on the podcast, and then he's like, we talked back and forth a little while, and then he's like, hey, you know how to do some of this stuff? And he's like, yeah. It's like, yeah. And he's like, well, like quote me on what it would be to do the X amount for me to do it for our business. So I came up with a quoted him, and he said, let's do it. So I started like part-time doing that.
That's awesome.
And then that's ran into doing it full-time for myself. After doing theirs for so long, I went full-time for them. Then things just didn't work out, didn't see eye to eye on some things, and decided it was time for me to just commit full jump.
So you committed full jump with no leads, essentially. Just the knowledge that you had. I mean, I'm sure there were a few people in limbo and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, through that, I had people kind of coming to me, hey, do you have, and I just didn't have time to do it. Like, you do that for them, you do that for us. I don't have time. There was a couple clients that it worked out that actually my girlfriend, she was doing dental assisting and then went and did full-time marketing, and then so she had some extra time too.
Yeah.
So she kind of followed in because she was helping me edit videos and post to social media, and she was starting to learn all that stuff. So I was like, well, here's what I charged them to do that the first time. Why don't you throw that out to other people, or if we can get them in. So she had a couple clients like a la carte, and I was like, okay. So the business plan works. The numbers are there.
Yeah.
And I have people wanting the service, possibly, maybe not. So it really came down to a weird deal where when I full jumped, I kind of there was a moment in time where I just said, well, you know what? I was given option 1 and option 2 within that company. And I said, yeah, no, I'm going to go option 3. I'm going to start my own business. If you guys would like to be a client, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Kind of go full contract, but you don't get me, you get the business that I'm going to create and all that type of stuff. So they actually stayed with me for a couple months, but then it was out.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a weird like transitional time, but I mean, it worked. And that's kind of when you have that, like, you have the best hand, right? Like, I know what I'm doing is working for them. I know I can do it for other people. My girlfriend's doing it for other people and it's working. The business is it's not really a full business, but it's kind of business and it's growing. So
just run
it'll
with it.
work, right? Like the blueprint works. I know that it's there. Let's go.
No, for sure. And that's huge. I mean, I think you had to go through everything. You couldn't just build high-speed media. You tried with the Grove, right?
Yeah. With Grove Social, like it's still out there. It's still a Facebook page. It has no following.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because I didn't have a following. Nobody knew what I was up to.
Exactly.
I had no track record of growing anything. So yeah.
So on the subject of growing, I believe I checked last night. BuildTuneRace is at 18K on YouTube and 16 on Instagram. So can you talk about kind of what your thought process was? I know you touched on it, like putting up video after video. Can you touch on what was your thought process and your growth process?
Yeah. So, and then, I'll touch on 2 other social medias is Facebook's over 100,000 and TikTok's at like 90-some thousand.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Come on, David.
No.
That's the good ones,
but
dude.
I only check the ones I
But for each of those, there's reasons.
For
TikTok was like, I was early because I knew the social media game.
Yeah.
Let's throw some stuff out. A couple videos go viral. You have 100,000 on TikTok easily compared to grinding on Instagram. To
For
get
sure.
to 18.
Yeah.
So like, we'll have fun with some of those throughout this discussion because each of them bring in their own value, right?
Sure. And challenges.
Challenges. So early on, I'll throw it out there, and if you don't know who Garyvee is, he's a huge inspiration to what I've done, and I followed and just working and being patient and doing those things and putting out content. I was watching one of his daily V's back in the day, and he's like, go hard at Facebook video because they're wanting to push it. They want to be like YouTube. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to make a YouTube video, so I make a YouTube video. Well, everybody would only go YouTube. Still to this day, a lot of people only YouTube because that's where they make their money. That's where they have their...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many YouTubers I've talked to that don't know you can make money on Facebook. It's gotten a lot better over the last, year, but prior to a year is really bad. So once a month, I start out putting a video out on my BuildTuneRace on Facebook and Instagram. Real slow growth.
Same video?
Yeah, same video. I do one, maybe same day, different day, and then as Facebook grew, I'd start putting it on YouTube and pushing people from Facebook to YouTube to see it
sure.
first.
Just
and then follow up.
cross-pollinate.
Yeah, like where do I want them to go and use that leverage? Well, Facebook actually, funny enough, came to me, and then I got this email one day, and is like, we want you to be in, it's called Launchpad, and we want to push more of our video platform. I was like, is this real? Like, you get a lot of BS emails from Facebook, right?
Is this you, Mark?
And it's not really, it's not really Facebook, but it
Yeah.
you look and then it says Outlook, and you're like, well, that's not Facebook. So, all right, let's follow up. And I had a meeting with them. They're like, no, you've been putting out consistent content. Your videos are getting views. Your page is growing. I was running ads in the background to help the page get noticed. And so they came to me and they're like, if you post a video a week, it'll be like $300 a video. Doesn't matter the views.
Deal.
Doesn't matter what it is. Just it has to be over 3 minutes because it has to be over 3 minutes to monetize, right? Well, I was making 12, 15, 17-minute videos, so it didn't even matter.
Problem, yeah.
So I was like, cool. Well,
Did
I'm
they
already
say-
making them, so I'm just going to dump them there, and cool. So sure enough, Launchpad, $300, you uploaded. $300, you uploaded. $300, you uploaded. I was sitting at SEMA, and they're like, we will also push your videos to help grow your channel through this deal. I was like, great, cool.
Perfect.
So I'm walking through SEMA, and my phone just starts blowing up. I'm like, what is going on? And you literally can see the video that I posted like a week and a half prior, and it, is at like 1,000, 1,200 views, and it went to like 30,000 views within a couple hours.
That's insane.
And I'm like, if Facebook don't have a dip switch
No, for sure, yeah.
to kick you some views, it was unbelievable. I was like, no way, that's so cool. And then you get some ad rev off of it and all that stuff.
I'm sure that SEMA video was nuts then.
Yeah, it was a video I posted even before going.
Yeah.
So, but like it was, they'd pick and choose what
No,
they
for
push.
sure, yeah.
So it's super weird.
You
but I
had
was
that
like,
motivation
I don't
walking
care.
through.
Yeah. You're like, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
what else can I push or what can I do? And it comes full circle from that trip to like walking through SEMA to last year being at SEMA thanks to like the videos and stuff.
sure,
So it's
yeah.
super weird, but calculated, planned to a point, but you never know where it'll take you. And then, so that takes off within, I think it was a 6-month window for that Launchpad deal. That was $10,000.
Jesus.
I was like, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Still don't make anywhere near that off my videos.
Of course not.
Nowhere close. But through that, when the platform wants to push something and when they're willing to throw money at it to make creators produce content,
course.
like right now we're seeing with Reels, right?
Yeah,
TikTok, Reels
Instagram,
bonuses,
yeah.
Facebook Reels bonuses, and all that type of stuff. Now you
YouTube.
see it, right?
YouTube has its own
little
Reels
shorts.
creator fund
Yeah.
now, or Shorts creator fund too. Yeah,
Yeah, so they'll
specifically
like push
for
at
that.
it, right? And then like if you can be early to when a platform wants to dump money at somebody for doing something,
Double down.
triple, quadruple,
Yeah.
like unbelievable. Go. And I just did it for Facebook Reels at the beginning of this year, and I actually rolled that into clients and helped them make some money with it.
Oh, yeah.
But still could have went so much harder.
Of course.
Like you always are like, I could have done more, right? But now that time has passed.
Yeah.
People are not making. It went from like $2 per 1,000 on Facebook Reels to like, I think it's like 20 cents or 2 cents per 1,000 now. It's,
Oh my God.
They chopped it way out,
Yeah.
right? But now they got everybody using it, so they
Of course.
why not save some money for them. They got people using the platform, so it's super interesting. But yeah, so that got me to go from one video a month to one video a week. I literally ran with one video a week for like 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so,
so that's how
everyone
I've gotten to, like-
I need to do one every day. Like,
Daily vlogging, if you can do it, man, go for it. Absolutely. But then you listen to the Mr. Beast podcast, and he's like, if you can do 50 videos and you get 1,000 views of each, or you can do one banger and get 1 million, the 1 million will do more for you.
for sure.
But you got to know that million's
do
going to
it.
get it.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody can do that.
That's very
Almost
true.
nobody
Yeah.
can do that.
No, of
Let's be
course.
real.
Yeah.
Like-
Especially in the state of where YouTube is now, and every time they change their algorithm, and like some of my favorite YouTubers have completely fallen off because of that, and they've just doubled down on their outside business ventures and stuff like that, which, coming back to what you said, you can't put your eggs all in one basket like that,
Yeah, and I mean, but the leverage that I tell everybody when I have these conversations or meetings with clients and stuff is like, the moment you put it on social media or create a video about it, you automatically become like on a pedestal.
For sure.
It makes no sense, but like, you want to talk about your business or your business, you put a YouTube video out about it. Even if it gets 12 views, somehow you become like this known source to the small people. And then as that grows, it obviously gets bigger.
For sure, yeah.
It's like this weird, you put it on YouTube, you're like, on this weird pedestal. And I don't know why, but it happens. I've noticed that with the car stuff, and I'm like, literally, I just create the video. I just document what I do and put the video out.
For sure.
I'm not trying to say I'm the most known this is the best way, or you should listen to me. And no, that's just how I did it. If you want to try it, go for it.
No, for sure. Absolutely.
YouTube is like the one platform that I want to get into, but I'm just like, I don't know. It's intimidating to me, I guess, to make I love making these reels, these short reels, and they're working pretty well, when I make them, minute long. But I want to make YouTube videos. I have so many plans, but then I'm like, man, how do I even make a 12-minute long video? It's hard.
Exact way,
yeah,
we already upload once a week on this. It's no different for your personal brand.
Yeah,
just set up the camera.
Way more editing.
That's the thing.
But
find your niche. People are one take. People go live. Why aren't people going live every day on YouTube instead of?
That's true. I don't know.
Go check out Twitch. There's people IRL in real life streaming, and I'm like, why don't we do that?
Especially now that they can sleep. They just push a Twitch stream for hours and hours.
I've thought of doing that, IRL tax preparation or something.
Even TikTok. You see people working the Amazon warehouse with their phone right there, and I'm like, man, I'll watch it for 2 minutes. I don't know why, but I don't know. People are interested in the things they don't understand, or behind the scenes, and that's what I really liked about TikTok was whether you were a delivery driver or you were a damn trash man, you had a platform and you can do whatever, and TikTok would blow up and people would get invested in it. The
most random,
the weirdest shit.
And some of those people, and that's I guess the fun part about the content creation, putting it out there, is I've literally on Facebook I've had a couple videos go real big, do pretty good. I have not yet since 2017, November of 17 is when I started BuildTuneRace. I have not had one video exponentially pop. Not one.
On TikTok or any platform?
On YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube.
On YouTube. Not one exponentially pop. But there's so many people that they get that one video that pops. And they go from 18,000 to 180,000 subs. Real quick. Everything changes.
I was reading a news article. There's this local podcast here. It's this little kid. He started in COVID.
I did see that.
And he has 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he has 1.3 million views, right? So I went and looked at his page. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And what happened was he got 1.1 million views on a reel, and all of his other views have 400 views. You know what I mean? It popped off on the YouTube Shorts, and I was like, dang, I feel like YouTube's now pushing the Shorts too, which is a good way to grow on there. It seems like, because I mean.
If you're making your reels post-production, whether you're using Final Cut or, Adobe or whatever, there's no watermark on it. So now you can cross-pollinate that one video to every source.
I'm curious, for you, because I've been doing that. I'll make a reel, put on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, right? But different videos do different on different platform, or same videos do different. Absolutely. Is what I'm saying,
100%.
YouTube Shorts, just the quality of the video is so shitty, but they still work. You know what I mean? It's really weird.
Fucking crazy.
They almost push the worst kind of videos, and
it's so hard. But I think that's where so many people are missing out, is they're not trying. There's so many people that have put out a 1 million+ view video just on the wrong platform, and it got 4,000 views, but over here it'll get 1 million
for sure.
I've done it. I have clients that are on, that have us do their posting, and I will take that same video and put it on multiple platforms, and the multiple different views those same videos get is unbelievable. You would never believe, literally 4,000, 400,000.
That's insane.
Same video, same exact, didn't touch anything, just put it on this platform versus this platform, and that's the difference.
Is it just random?
Just extremely random.
Push it everywhere.
Extremely random. You can help. If you think it's going to do better on one, you drop it there first. Give it a day. Because if you have a lot of followers, the same, it's just TikTok, YouTube, all of them, that first hour, that first 24 hours that something's live. And if you have a good niche following of people, and they share it to their friends, obviously they're going to share it, but then the chances of them going to YouTube and also sharing, but YouTube's harder to share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But
you have to leave the app, but
So it's super interesting, but there's a lot of people, community posts on YouTube are not talked about right now. I don't have anybody I'm really pushing that for, because there's people crushing it with community posts that has nothing to do with video posts on YouTube.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so weird, but there's so much, and every TikTok you can now go 3 minutes, really you should do the minute because that still works better, you know. But you could go live. There's people making tons of money live on TikTok. Like,
that's something.
You gotta have 1,000 followers on TikTok to go live, is what I found out, or something like that.
I'm there, baby.
So
no, I mean, talking about what you did,
Yeah.
you know, like not even original content. I duetted something during quarantine, and this dude's got the video removed 3 times, and it was the funniest shit. I don't know, it was stupid. They removed the sound after I hit 1.4 million views, and he even commented on it and was like, how in the hell did this? All I did was laugh. I laughed at him, and I don't even think it was an audible laugh. I was just laughing, and it just hit, and 1.4 million. I've got probably 90% of my followers from that. All these likes, you know, I think it was like 65,000 likes. And from there, it was like, oh shit, like what's next? Like start duetting, start, you know, stitching, start doing all this other stuff. You know, there's so much to do, but it's a pain in the ass.
I'm kind of curious.
Oh, it is.
Like we're just kind of like bouncing around these different social media topics. Like,
I love it though.
I
love it.
I do too. I do too. I want to keep it kind of structured. I'm just curious, like when you meet with a new client, like do you go in and basically look at their business, their followings, and like put together like an individualized plan for each person on platform, or do you kind of more of like a blanket strategy, or like kind of how does that work, I guess?
So we have built in, like, these are our plans that work, and they're a deliverable base plan. You know, X amount of posts to this platform, and this platform for this amount of money. Okay, cool. But then you also get clients that, well, we do have a YouTube. Okay, well, but we'd rather do this or that. So then we come up with custom plans all the time, but it's all very similar structure. But there's clients I have that are crushing it on all other platforms, don't have a TikTok. But they've had already a big following across the other social media plan. So let's leverage that. And then if we do well there, maybe we want to start a TikTok for you. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's whatever. Some people want. You really should be on TikTok, but as far as if you're going to hire other people to do it,
you got to be diligent.
Yeah, you have to with the budget, and unless somebody's like, all branding, let's go.
Yeah.
I want to be everywhere, and that's really the mentality. But how many businesses just have disposable income to like invest into posting to TikTok when really there's no guaranteed ROI? Now they have the ad platform on TikTok and all that stuff, and there's ways to start getting there, but that's not number one usually.
Yeah, it's hard to get conversion off TikTok for sure.
But. But it's also the way that if you have a product and you make that one video and it gets 4 million views, you're now a $300,000 a year company.
Exactly. Kenny talked about that actually.
Sure, yeah.
Kenny had a couple of videos go for a couple million views, and he said he had a lot of people reach out. He was shooting videos for people across the whole country based off of those videos. So
totally jump started, you know, what he does, but.
That's like, I look at it as like an asset and an investment. Also, when you go to sell a business or you want to value a business, like the social media platform should be absolutely 1,000% tied into that. Like
100%.
Because if you buy a company with 50,000 on Facebook and 50,000 on Instagram, or 100,000 on Instagram, or you go buy a company with nothing and nothing,
there's a big difference.
If you want to do something different tomorrow or push something,
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you got to invest a lot of money. There's a lot of money invested into those things that people don't see, but it's time, money, energy, ads, all that stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's all of it. But like you were saying before with like the duets, if you guys want a hack tomorrow, anytime a platform releases a new feature, use that feature.
For sure. All the way down to, I mean, you guys deal with a lot of Twitter stuff, or?
Hardly anybody that we have is big. And that's not my platform. I really don't know it, but we're also not really working with, if we had a client that already had 20,000 on Twitter and they showed it, like we'd absolutely take some of the content and move it over there, but that's just not been when you're looking at customers and clients, we look at everything.
So I know when the Elon deal was going through, there was a big push to Twitter because he was going to keep it, you know, like censor free and all this other stuff. And I know Twitter owns OnlyFans and all kinds of stuff like that. So I didn't know if you guys had a lot of, you know, experience with Twitter, and like I feel like that's the stepchild of social, but the Twitter people are diehard.
And it is where I really see Twitter, and this is kind of on my radar in the next like 5 years type thing, is like NFT land.
That space,
because like Discord, Twitter is where all that lives. If you're a business right now, you're on Facebook, but like how are you going to get people to Twitter and Discord? You got to use,
for sure, yeah.
You got to use, if you don't have Twitter, you got to use Facebook, and it's all about like let's put it everywhere, as long as it makes sense and cost versus work and all that. Those things come into play.
The
But
risk
like,
versus reward.
if I was better on Twitter, we might push them Twitter accounts. It's not where I head. I know a lot more about Facebook. Facebook's ad platform and those things.
Sure.
That's where we hang out.
Do you so for your clients, do you do boosted posts and advertising or like Google advertising and stuff like that?
Not so much Google.
No.
Anything like Facebook ad platform, which is Facebook, Instagram. I've toyed a little bit with Google. If a client wants us, we'll go in and build an ad, but I'm also not telling the client like we're going to crush it on Google. But also, some Google companies want X amount spent to even step into that realm.
For sure.
So they want to spend $50 on Google. There's a lot of the companies we work with, some will have big ad budget, but some won't. But they want to try, and you also want to try for them, because if it hits and you can make it work for them,
that adds to your tool belt,
So there's a balance there. Obviously, as high-speed media grows, I'd love to have a Google expert.
For sure.
A TikTok expert, an Instagram expert. Like why they coexist so well is BuildTuneRace. Anything I learn when I'm building my own content is what I try to implement for clients.
For sure.
The biggest thing is trying to get the clients to give us that similar content. So
it's hard.
It's hard. It's very hard, and we struggle all the time with getting enough content from our clients. But then we also offer to travel to them to get. We have more clients outside of Pueblo.
That's what I was wondering. So are you mostly remote, and then if you have to go shoot the content, then you will?
Yeah.
I wasn't too sure. So I mean, what's your biggest service that you offer? Is it social media marketing?
Yeah. So our biggest thing is we have multiple clients on a package. Our base package is like $398 a month. It's 3 posts a week to Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And then if you want to go up, 4 to 5 a week, and then we'll also start running Facebook ads at that point. Usually it's 10% of ad spend. We spend more, we make more. If we're spending more and the ads are doing good, you make more. Win,
on the back end,
everybody's happy.
Exactly.
Right? And then we go up to like the golden of everything that I've done is kind of like a post per day for like $1,000 a month. And then ads on the backside.
For sure.
But that's a post every single day. And 99% of business owners, posting social media is their number 5, 8, 12 thing on their list.
Of course.
So they'll post once. They know it's important. They know it works. They know they need to do it. But then 2 weeks goes by and they haven't posted anything.
Exactly.
I think $1,000 a month for some businesses, like,
who cares?
you can make that back,
Easily.
Pretty easily.
Well, and then the branding on top of it, and the who knows what it all depends. If you're selling a $20 T-shirt, you got to have a pretty big brand, and then the money and all those types of things, because the overhead, really a $20 T-shirt, really you're making 10 or whatever.
Hopefully,
But if you're selling a $7,000 product or class or course, or your service is a couple like mine, I run Facebook ads to try to sell my own service. Well, what's a client worth to me? My minimum client at $398 a month, if they stay on for, which we're month to month, so even if they're on for a couple months, but if they stay on for a year, $5,000 ish or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I can spend some money to make some money there.
For sure. And you're confident within your realm anyway, like you're just doing it for yourself.
That's why I like for me, I sponsored like this football league up in Springs. It's $1,000 jersey sponsor, so my name was on the jersey, had a booth set up and everything. But for $1,000, I mean, all I really have to get is either 1 reoccurring business client or 2 tax returns, and I pretty much break even. So a lot of stuff like that, it's, for me personally, for my business, I feel like it's worth the money because it's the break even's pretty low, low bar,
Yeah. Well, and what's that? You're not calculating the person that saw you there that in 3 years might
exactly,
right? And you'll never will, and it's so hard. And that's the conversations I almost need to have with more clients is, how much are we playing to ROI tomorrow, and how much are we playing to ROI in 10 years? Because we're going to build you in your niche one of the biggest social media followings.
People will sit and watch for a long time. There's been people who are like, man, I saw your first Instagram post when you did X, Y, and Z, and you took this photo, like that was crazy, and we're ready for family photos. And I'm like, holy shit, like you waited that long, like that's insane. You know? But there are so many people who watch, and that's why I like stories, is because you can see everybody who saw it, so you can truly see who's lurking. I've met people who have never liked an Instagram post who are like, oh man, that photo you posted was sick, and I'm like, that's weird, you've never liked it or commented or told me that.
I'm not a big liker.
Really?
What's as weird as that is, like I take in so much content, but I don't. But then I've gotten better. I'm like, I need to do that because I know how important that is for them, and I need them to do that for me. But like year and a half ago, I kind of like trying to push myself to like more things.
I've seen the like come. I see the rocket ship every now and again in my feed. I'm like,
here's another thing that I've noticed on my Instagram reels is like I look at other people's like to view ratios, and mine seems super low. But what I've noticed is on my reels that get good views, like 10,000 plus views. When I'm looking at the analytics of it, I'm not getting a lot of likes, but I'm getting a lot of shares and I'm getting a lot of saves. And Instagram really likes that. So for me, like putting out informational content people want to remember about taxes and stuff, they're saving that or they're sharing it with their other friends. And that's what's really pushing mine, I think. It's really helping. I've learned that. So now when I create a reel, I always do a call to action to share it or to save it or something like that. And it seemed to be working pretty good. I mean, I have a very, very small following on everything, like 500 on every platform. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But I mean, I grew like 10%.
But the quality is there.
I grew like 10% on Instagram in 1 week, which 50 followers isn't crazy, but 10% is pretty good number.
You
literally
need one
just
client,
by
right? Like
exactly.
one at a time. You're not trying to get 400 clients.
No,
that's the way I see it. Like, when I look at my social, I always think like, okay, if I have 50,000 people that follow me and I convert 1% of the clients, that's a lot of money for me. You know what I mean? So I don't need a ton. I don't think. I don't necessarily need the ad revenue or anything like that.
You just need to stay relevant. Honestly.
Yeah, pretty much. So
and keep putting out info.
People get lost in this. Like, take a step back when you're anywhere and look at 1,000 people.
That's a shit ton of people.
It's a lot of people. Like, you go stand up in front of 1,000 people right now. It's a lot of people, right? And there's we get so caught up in they're 50,000 followers or, I only got 1,000 views. You only got 1,000 views. And I get it because, like, right now, 1,000 views, people take in and pass the content so fast. Yeah. So for you to really hit a string, you need a ton of views. Maybe, kind of. It depends on how you look at it. Like, for you need one person to see that and be like, I need to talk to that dude. And, like, worth it. But we get caught up too much in that, and I even did that one time. I was like looking, I was like, I wonder how many people are there. Like 500. I'm like, man, 500 looks like a lot of people.
It's a shit ton.
It looks physically it looks like a lot, but being in person, which kind of rolls to like free car when we talk about that, is like there's a deeper value there.
Absolutely.
In person, talking to somebody, having them physically all their attention at one time is way more valuable than somebody watching a 15-second reel. It's the same reason why if you put out a 20-minute video talking about it, it's probably going to get way less views, but the depth will be way more.
Yeah. Retention, even on the podcast, the retention numbers were crazy. The view numbers not crazy, but how long they stay on is.
You ever watch your like YouTube analytics for watch time? Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're closing in on 1,000 watch hours for the podcast. Lifetime.
Yeah. So, on YouTube.
1,000 hours of somebody's life is spent watching YouTube right here.
It's pretty crazy actually.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's like the humbling thing. And like people should, hopefully, if they're in the game and they're like, I'm not popping off and I'm not blowing up. Like, man, the depth though.
Yeah.
I've been all over the country. Is kind of like fun story that is kind of entertaining for people is like, oh, people notice you on public. I'm like, yeah, here and there, whatever. Like at car events and different things. The very, very first time I flew to Georgia to cover an event for the other company I was working for. I was walking through the pits, and this dude's like, hey, mate, I watch your videos. It's like, hey, man, thanks, whatever, blah, blah. I'm like, so you from? Oh, I'm from Australia. So a dude from Australia traveled to Georgia. A guy from Colorado that puts out automotive content traveled to Georgia. And walking past him, he reached out and said, hey, I watch your videos. And I'm like, wow.
That's
cool.
The
first dude, like, out in public, not that I knew prior or anything inside of Pueblo or whatever, that was like, hey, man.
Yeah. What a feeling.
In Georgia. Like, wow, that was wild. So
you're like, damn, that 1% in Australia really is true. Sometimes I feel like it's bullshit. And it's like, what do we have one in like South Africa or some shit like that? And I'm like,
oh yeah,
my Australian
shout out to that dude.
Great, though. Doing all the burnout stuff, all the Australian burnout, because they built that burnout truck and then doing the burnouts. Those guys are like in. The one dude's like, I had someone like reach out through, they find you on Instagram and they reach out or on Facebook or whatever. And he's like, if you ever come to Australia, I got you. If you need a place to stay or whatever.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm like, what? Off of putting out videos on the internet, the dude offered me to stay at his house in Australia.
That's crazy.
That'd be cool.
That'd be insane.
Right? Like that's
social media is just like so powerful in
For
so
sure.
many different platforms. Like
It is.
so many different aspects. I mean,
And it's those things that everybody wants to push towards, like sales, and we need to put the website on every post. Well, Facebook doesn't want you to drive people away.
that's what I was telling David. I read like I don't when we post a podcast, I don't put the link in my story because I heard that Instagram doesn't like people to leave Instagram, so don't
Makes
put the
sense.
link in.
Makes total sense.
DM the link. That's what I read. So I tried it one time, but it surprisingly worked fairly decent.
You just gotta try.
He tries shit, and I'm like, people are messaging me like, "Yo, why'd you DM me the link?" And I was like, "That's not me. I don't run that account. Like, why is it always my fault when things
you
go
hacked?
bad?"
Did you get hacked?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I got
that
hacked.
shit
Go
worked.
click that link.
That shit worked apparently. Check out the fucking podcast.
Well, right now you hit them
Yeah.
more in depth.
Now they
right?
know. Yeah, they feel like they have that connection, and there's like pressure to watch it. You know what I mean? We should try it with this one. Actually, we're not going to try it with this one. We're going to see just like where tagging you works.
Yeah, and then
your
I'm going to take
following.
it. I'm going to put it across my stuff. Like
Exactly,
my
yeah.
personal gets decent following, but I take your YouTube link and I put it in there. It's going to get less.
Exactly.
But I will
Yeah.
because
It's easier.
I want the direct 10 people to go though.
Exactly.
Like there's a friction thing too.
No,
If
absolutely.
you make them search for the link in the comments,
They're
how
never
many
gonna
people are
find
going to check out before going to the comments?
Exactly.
But it's a play. I did it last week. Always trying, always testing. I actually kind of did this one on accident. Usually I take the YouTube link, put it on my Facebook page, and I drop it. I actually made the post on Instagram, flows over to Facebook automatically, and I left it. It got 10 instead of it getting like 250. A page with 100,000 followers got like a 250 or something. It was terrible. Not like one like. I dropped it the other way. It got 20,000 reach.
Interesting.
But it was just the thumbnail with text, no
Yeah.
link.
Okay.
So
They knew
am
where
I
to find
better
you.
off?
Yeah.
At least the information's out there, and then they know they got to go to their YouTube app
Yeah.
and go find me and go find the new video and then go watch it. Am I better off taking those numbers or the direct link?
For sure.
You don't know.
Who
but-
knows? Like, yeah.
Who knows? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, the
But-
problem with the direct link too is like unless they switch to the app, they're not signed in. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
everybody
you
that
know,
pushes
yeah,
people
yeah.
to subscribe through the link, and
Yeah,
then
I'm
it,
like,
You
it
can't.
opens
yeah.
in Facebook's browser, and you're like, no.
Yeah, no,
That is
you
true,
really
actually.
can't,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
so
Like,
annoying.
there is no perfect scenario. So for me, it's like path of least resistance. But I know my viewing style is like, if there's something I want, I'm going to find it, you know, and it's not going to take me long. But my favorite thing to do is weird as it sounds is like if I'm at like an event or a basketball game, I like to watch how different people maneuver through whatever app they're in. I don't give a fuck what they're doing. I just
Right.
want to see your attention. Like some people, like younger crowd, will only go through stories and then they'll scroll a couple times on the
then
feed
they're out.
and then they close it. And then they go to the next thing. Or they'll reopen it 2 seconds after they just closed it.
Go back through.
And they'll go right back through stories. And then they'll scroll on the feed just a little bit. And like they'll like zoom in, creep, and then keep going. And I'm like, damn, that's so interesting. But like that's like my weird favorite thing to do is
It's like
watch
people watching in a digital.
Yeah, it's like people digital watching. Like,
Get in the metaverse.
yeah,
Right?
that's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
going to be a trip too.
That's.
I
yeah.
want a metaverse office.
You don't
How do
even
I
want
do
this
that?
office.
I've looked at purchasing a plot of land on Decentraland to put a high-speed media office just to be able to like show that we're paying attention to the future.
I want, yeah,
That
me
makes
too.
sense.
I
I
just
mean,
have no
that
idea how
makes
to
sense
do
for
it.
you.
And then
Yeah.
someone's like, well, it's going to be like a 5 figures. I was like, well, I'm
I'm
not,
so
I don't,
glad I didn't buy it a couple months ago.
I don't know I'm going to do that.
You can get a plot of land on Decentraland for like a $4,000 right now or something like that. But then I'm like, okay, now I got to learn about the building side of it. But then I'm like, okay, marketing. Okay, so I'm going to put a thing there, and then I'm going to let people with NFTs come to us, and then I'm going to offer them the service of showing their NFTs in our gallery.
Yeah. Makes
Like
sense.
that's
That
literally
makes
how
sense.
it could play out, and that's how it could like ROI. But we're ways out, and right now it's not a hot time for NFTs. So.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not
crypto and
so
all that type of
much.
stuff. It's great time if you want to buy digital land.
Yeah.
We just don't know what the backside of it looks
Just
like.
my monkey picture's just not doing too hot right now.
One thing I'm going to do for like before next tax season is I'm going to announce like I'm accepting cryptocurrency as payment
That would be interesting.
next year. Only like Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's
No,
all I
of course.
want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I'm just kind of curious
Just
to
to
see if anyone
see.
will pay me in it.
A
Yeah.
lot of places do. Surprisingly, a lot of places do. I don't know if people actually do it. I don't feel comfortable enough in my Binance ability to send you money without emptying my entire
Hopefully
fucking
giving you
wallet.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the scariest thing in all the
Yeah.
Discords. They're like, don't click random links. You're like,
Yeah.
what if my phone's sitting there and accidentally like touch it and it goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
You're
a
broke
trip.
now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
It's a weird time for that.
My Cardano's empty. So getting back to, I do want to touch on like BuildTuneRace and stuff like that. So majority of that is you working on vehicles. So
Yeah.
you have a mechanic background as well, like interest ish,
Eh,
or just YouTube
maybe.
it and
car stuff.
figure it out.
Like
Yeah.
Hot Wheels, man. Little kid,
Yeah.
Hot Wheels. Like that's
Gotcha.
Like my dad's grown. Like me growing up, my dad's always drag raced and had cars and built cars. But like for my, honestly, it's YouTube. Like
figure it out.
because all the stuff that he used to do was like, you know, carbureted, big block. I was like LS, EFI, learned to tune. I always liked the computer stuff. let's YouTube it. Let's figure it out. Like,
For sure,
Like, honestly, I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's kind of one of those things also I don't feel like I can't not do anything.
For sure.
As long as I can figure it out, like, I can tear it apart and put it back together.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, I guess I'll figure that out and then I'll have to fix it, right?
Yeah.
Type of a deal. So
If
with
not
anything,
somebody you know can,
right?
at
So a
that
lot
point.
of the BuildTuneRace that came about because like I was building my own Camaro, my car. Like I built it myself. Like I went to college actually for the welding degree. That's how I ended up out at Vestas. And so like welding background, been around cars a lot, love racing, and all that type of stuff. So okay, I can weld, I can fab up turbo kits, I can do that stuff. Am I a professional at it? Do I want to offer that service to other people? No, but I'm going to do it to learn. Like my first turbo kit to my next one that I'll be building here soon, big difference in quality, right?
For sure.
It just will be. And also some of that comes into budget and being able to afford the nicer pieces and parts, but you learn as you grow. So building it, working on it in the garage, figuring it out, then tuning it. So then I went and took classes to learn how to tune Holley FI, HP tuners, stock ECU type stuff. I bought a dyno, threw the thing. Cool, I'm going to make videos about tuning cars and all that type of stuff. And then racing, obviously,
There's
my
the content
favorite,
there.
right?
You're bringing in crazy cars on dyno. People love that
and
shit.
you tune a car, like I said, you automatically get put on a platform, like a pedestal.
For sure.
You tune a car on the internet and put the video out about tuning it, and it does well.
You're the go-to guy.
You're
People
the
are
go-to.
driving here.
Yeah, I get tagged all the time on stuff about tuning, and now I'm not tuning near as much because of trying to grow a business that's
sure.
scalable and not just on me. And tuning's a headache, and dealing with cars is a headache, and
Dealing with car people is a headache.
yeah, I had a pretty interesting conversation with my dad when I was younger, and he came into my automotive. I was in auto tech in high school, so I learned some of it there or whatever. And I was going to go to Arizona and go to like whatever it was called, like UTI or whatever. Like they used to do the commercials.
Yeah,
for
the
all
commercial.
Time. He's like, I get it. You like working on your cars, but do you want to work on other people's cars the rest of your life? And I was like, yeah, probably not.
No, hell no.
Usually you go work on other people's cars, and the last thing you want to do is go home and work on your own car.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, I mean, that's same with I'm posting so much social media for everybody else. It gets to be a struggle to post to my own, but like, and it's taking a dip, but there's things I'm strategically doing this to hopefully have high speed media help me create content for BuildTuneRace one day.
Exactly.
Right? Like I'm trying to build that.
Go full circle.
Build it fully, and then it's unstoppable at that point. Like it can produce so much
Then
more.
you're just another client in your business. You're just
Absolutely.
another.
Yep.
the wheel.
Now we
Yeah.
have a full-time editor. Cool. Now I never need to hire an editor, and it kind of helps to like justify when you're trying to hire people. So you're like, okay, I'll use them 20 or 30% of the time for my own stuff.
For sure.
So it helps
It's
to be a
worth it.
filler.
Yeah.
So that's a fun thing when you start gaining people on your team that you know is going to eventually help you grow one of the things that matters the most. But then the business is working, so we just created a High Speed Media YouTube channel.
Yeah, why not?
I know YouTube, but I only do car stuff on BuildTuneRace. So what if I want to do a pizza review? I'll put that on High Speed Media.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
And I saw, a couple how-to videos on linked through your website, like how to, what was it, schedule TikTok videos, or schedule Reels.
Reels on Facebook. And one of the things I think I'm good at is seeing those new features pop up, and then I can make it same day.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally tapped in with that world. So, I mean, why not be that guy for, okay, you can do this, or how do I do this? And then you hit that search, you know what I mean? And like you said, now you're back up on this pedestal again, now with another company. You know what I mean?
And that's the whole game, and everybody's so scared of like, well, I don't want to give out my secrets. Sorry, everything's already out there on the internet.
It's kind of like an old school mentality. It's almost
for sure.
like that's the opposite. You like want to give.
I'm going to give
everybody.
it all,
Yeah.
because then people are going to realize that how much time it takes to make those 5 posts a week to their Instagram and
They're gonna be
Facebook,
like-
and then they're going to call me.
They'll
and pay
do
me
it for
to
a
do
week.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Now you know my value and what I bring to the table.
It worked for you. You already proof of concept in what I told you to go do.
Yeah,
Now you just want to pay me to continue doing it.
exactly.
So
No.
it'll work, and that's the things that I'm barely starting to get going on. Like you were saying, we were talking earlier, a year and a half of the high speed media side of things, like legit full time, all in, and I'm still barely scratching the surface of what I want to do. But I'm busy taking care of clients.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the reasons why we started the podcast too, is we were both on a podcast, and we obviously didn't feel like super comfortable just being in front of the camera, in front of the mics and all that stuff. So we wanted a place to put all of our stuff. But on the back end, it's like we provide value, because now if you have somebody or you have the ability to make your own reels, we just gave you an hour's worth of content for yourself. And, you can sprinkle that in, once a week, and it's already done. You know what I mean? Flip that to your editor and, hone in on some key shit that you just said. Now it's on the website. Now it's on TikTok, Reels, wherever you want to put it.
Especially if you're a business and you're paying someone like your business. I mean, yeah, you could just send them, hey, here's this hour-long video.
Chop
Clip
this
it up.
Use whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that, like, those clients to me are the best.
For sure. Yeah.
But I'm my own best client right now because we had a conversation this morning. My girlfriend was like, should I go help you? Like, she works, she's full-time in the business and all that stuff. And I was like, I mean, you can, but we'll probably just strip their video and use it.
Exactly.
Like,
And
they'll get,
that's all good.
it's their clip, but they'll get the love. We'll use it on our side. It's a co-branded deal. And
I'll
it's
drop
perfect.
I'll drop you the Final Cut link.
See?
You know,
See,
let- you
We'll
know,
send you the
yeah,
whole,
Dropbox
whatever
link.
you want. You
The
can take
thumbnail,
it.
whatever you want.
Whatever
You
you
know,
need.
you can have it.
But that's the game, and there's so many people that are like, no. Let's push it out there. As many people as can see it.
Yeah. Who cares?
Why not? And that's,
Exactly.
I was like, podcast opportunity. Yep. I don't care how many people. I don't need one person to see this.
I just need the video.
I want the video for 5-10 years from now.
Exactly.
I want to recall this podcast
True.
when we're talking about it. And instead of me being 2 full-time people and a part-time person, I have 10 people.
Yeah. Look
I
at the
can be
growth.
like, look, this is what we're doing.
Garyvee does it all the time.
Yep.
And
Look what I said in 2016.
And
and,
look
yeah.
what came true.
don't think I'm not trying to do something similar.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
100%.
Why not?
It's the coolest thing. And I love watching his stuff. I love his content. It works. People seem to hate him, but I'm like, I would not be sitting here right now talking about the stuff we were if I wasn't watching some of his videos.
And clip, tag Garyvee, and we're good.
Right. Yeah. Gary, hit me up. No.
You're right.
All that type of stuff. But
Come do a burnout in my car.
But he's like so left field, like not car stuff. And he always talks about, buying that BMW. I'm like, but I love that shit. Like,
Yeah, no, of course.
And that's where he's like, if you love it, you love it. Like,
exactly.
do you?
So you said going back to your employees, because I know Brad likes to talk about employees, and he's probably itching. So you said your girlfriend,
Yep.
and then a part timer,
Yep. And,
graphic design ish type
kind
stuff.
of, yeah, content, helping us create content. So April's my girlfriend. We've been together like 8 years, and then she went full time earlier this year, around January-ish. It's kind of crazy because as we stepped out to like, you want to get back to your income, right? Like
For
if
sure.
you leave a job or you're doing whatever, you want to get back to that income. So, build back my income, cool. You go full time, I can take a little hit. Build your income, cool. Now we got our incomes, let's hire somebody. And like we're starting to get enough clients. And obviously if you're sick or I'm out or whatever, like you start building that team so it can support
We
itself.
could travel without taking a huge hit.
Right. So what's crazy is I didn't know, but her grandpa knows me really well. But she like out of the blue, this girl hits us up on social media and is like, hey, are you guys looking for an intern? I'm doing social media like mass comm stuff or whatever through like PCC, and I'm going to be going to CSU and blah, 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 all that. Some of that's changed. But we're like, well, let's do an interview. Sure. We're working at our house. I have my office in the house. April has her office in the house. And we did like a Zoom meeting, and she sent us some stuff she worked on. I was like, cool. Yeah, like, let's try it. Like, I'll work for free. And I was like, no, I can't, because it'd have to count. Like, you can't actually have a free intern. It's got to go to like credits at school or whatever. So, okay, well, we'll start you off of this, and we'll give you this many hours. Crushes it. Okay, this many hours. Crushes it. And she's been learning, and she's in. And like, we're so happy to have her. And when you get, everybody right now is talking about how terrible and hard it is to find employees and people to work for them. So I'm like, she's the greatest. So like, we're doing everything we can to keep her, but that's kind of, now we need more clients to get her full time.
For sure. That's the goal.
And that's the goal, right? And she gave us a timeline, and we're coming up on it. And, but we had some clients. We grew real quick, got a bunch of clients, and some fell off, but some only wanted it for 3 or 4 months because they're like a summertime business. And then they go dormant. And it's super weird. Like, the best thing I love about high-speed media is how much I learn about everybody else's businesses.
That's the best part. And how you can implement
I
it.
love it. Yeah, or just understanding, like, if I wanted to open up a different business, like, I would definitely not be doing that, but that's intriguing.
Yeah, for sure.
Type of a deal, but as long as we're helping grow them, I have no desire, but it's kind of one of those things that's like, maybe I could have 5 different businesses one day, and
You have
I
an
know
insight.
exactly, I already know how to market the business, why wouldn't I try to do it, type of a
Yeah.
deal or whatever, in different ways, though. Like,
For sure, yeah.
But, like, because we have people from Florida to California
Yeah.
as clients. Like,
That's huge.
They're all over. So it's interesting because you're not going to compete with somebody in, a different state because they're their local business. But as far as the employee, though, it's fun, it's exciting, it's nervous. It works with our design of business to where I can step them up in hours and bring them in slowly.
For sure.
So logistically, as we'll talk about some other things, like I think I'm very good at logistical stuff, but I'll spend hundreds of hours thinking about it. Like, give myself tons of headaches. Like, I love the
Guilty.
logistics side of it, but I think I'm pretty good. Usually when plans happen, they work out pretty well, but it is man,
it's not
can it
by
be a
accident
lot of-
though.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
It's planned.
Yeah, everything I do is well calculated. Like I have to fully understand it, which is a fault of mine. Is I'm
Took you
not one
longer
of
than
those
should've.
just
Yeah,
jump.
just-
I can't just jump and do it. I have to feel like I understand it fully, and I have to have an answer to every issue that might come up.
Yeah.
But life is 90% of what happens and 10% of how you react to it. Or vice versa, whatever. Like it's all about the reaction, and like I still don't get it. At this time.
Yeah, I think I'm way too calculated a lot of times, honestly.
Yeah, which
But
like I said, is why we don't take risk, or why it takes longer to take that risk. But timing is everything.
Yeah, and that's where it's kind of one of those things too. If you popped off and it hit just right, like with viral videos, do you
Yeah.
want to be known as the Island Boys?
Fuck.
I'm an island
I mean,
boy.
maybe
Brad
not.
is an
Depends on
island
who you are, right? Like,
You are in the presence of an island boy.
but
I don't know if
they're
you know
a
that.
prime example of like
Yeah.
that one hit. Now that's what they're known for forever, in perpetuity. That's it.
That
but
sucks,
they'll
yeah.
write off that forever as well. But it's kind of or like my stuff.
Yeah.
I would like to in years to be like, no, it was all planned. It all worked
For
out
sure,
the way
yeah.
it went. Like it was
Exactly.
designed to. So then I can go to a client and be like, look,
This is how we
it's
did it.
designed this way. I didn't just hit a video and it went viral. So otherwise, then I'm in the business of like, how do I make you go viral?
Exactly. How do I make a one-hit wonder?
Yeah,
That's
again and again and again for clients.
yeah. Damn,
But-
that's insane. So, like on the subject of logistics, you recently put on an event, correct?
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so I put on a couple car events years ago. Some with my dad, then I did one on my own. We always ran into weather. It was always a mess. And I was like, okay, not doing that style of event ever again. If I do another event, it's going to be totally different, rain or shine, and it will have a completely different vibe to it. And I've been to a bunch of events trying to figure it out. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? I like that about that event. I don't like that about that event. I like that about that event. So I kind of put all those things together, but kind of the trigger of marketing is I did it for free. 100%, and it's called Free Car Event. You can find it on social. You can see what we did. I'm actually going to drop the video, which I'm way late on, which I'm mad at myself about. But
Happens.
it's a 45-minute YouTube video of a
Feature
of the
film.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not huge editing, but I left a lot in there for the people that helped, like, that were in it and wanted to be a part of it. But Free Car Event, and I let people, I went to the track and said, okay, how much is the track rental? They go, well, what do you want to do? I said, some burnouts and drag racing. Typical event, right? But I said, I want to know the cost to rent the track. And they're like, okay, it's this amount. Okay, I say, perfect. I'll do it, and I'm going to let everybody in for free. I'm renting the track. I'm going to open up the gates. Everybody in for free. Free to drag race, free to do burnouts, free to bring your car. I want no excuses why people don't show up to this thing. Zero. If there's weather in the forecast, what's it matter? If it rains, leave. You didn't pay $20 to get in and turn around and leave. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, come by. Bring a car out. If you need tires to bring the car out instead of paying to come in, go get tires to come out. Like, I don't care. If you need a hotel because you're out of state, bring it. Like, let's go. I hate asking for money. I hate. The girlfriend will do more of the, like, sell stuff and lead gen. I hate asking for anything. And so when I went free, I said, I got to have sponsors to cover the cost. That was my whole intent, logistics-wise. Okay, X amount to rent the track. I need X amount of sponsors at this much money to cover the cost of the track rental. Perfect. Let's try it. Either way, I'm signing up. I'm committed. I'm paying the money, no matter what. But hopefully I can make this work. But it's free for the community. Businesses, the more people that come in, the more businesses set up booths, sponsor, put their logo on stuff, whatever. Maybe they'll want in. And the outpouring of people was great. It was fantastic. So met my goal. Pretty much. A lot of other costs come up that I didn't expect, but that happens with those types of things. But I got enough sponsors pretty much to cover the cost of the track rental.
Perfect.
Which was awesome. Perfect. Logistically, it covered. Everybody asked, how are you making money? How are you making money? Like, obviously there's something. You're trying to make money. I am, and obviously if I'm going to do it for years to come, it's got to make money. I got to pay the crew. I got to pay people. I want to make money. It's a lot of time and energy invested. But I wanted the data. I wanted the people. I wanted to know I could put on a car party and bring people in because then that gives me leverage. The bands, when you rolled in, said BuildTuneRace and had a QR code to scan to go subscribe.
It's huge.
I gained 100 subscribers that day. My average is like 7 to 10 a day other than that.
Yeah.
So I 10x my subscriber, but I had 20-some hundred people come in the gate. I got 100 to subscribe. It's all right, right? But cool, I market myself. I also got, within that, I got 7,000 people that went on and got free tickets, but like you could go get 10, right?
Yeah.
You could get 17. But people would go on and get 1 and 1 and 1. I got 7,000 tickets out, 1,000 emails and
Phone numbers
to market to in the future.
That's huge.
Big. Have you ever tried to grow an email list?
Forget it.
I did it in 4 months. I got 1,000 with phone numbers. Have I marketed to them one time? I sent them an event email one time. Otherwise, I haven't blown them up. I don't care. I just have the data. I want the information. So maybe next year I want to do something else. Maybe I want to talk about high-speed media to them one time. Maybe I got a sponsor that now I can go to a sponsor and say, hey, for this much money, I'll send you an email to these people that are in the car community.
Yeah.
And that's part of your sponsorship package.
Perfect.
I don't know, maybe. But I just wanted to see what I could do.
Leverage.
And it worked, right? Yeah, leverage the following. But I didn't want to there'd be people blowing those people up 3 times a week right now.
Guaranteed.
If they had those emails.
Yeah. Every little update.
If I put something out, if I send you something, I want it to be semi-important type of a deal. I mean, that's just who I am. That's the way I kind of try to work. But came in, we put up a burnout pit, tons of work, unbelievable amount of work. Had a great crew of people volunteered to help me, and sold enough merch and all that type of stuff to kind of cover costs. And I guess you could say maybe made a little to broke even somewhere in there during that event. But I got 2,000 people to come in and pay attention to what I was up to that day. Remember, we talked about 100 people being a lot, 500 people being a lot, 1,000. I had 2,000 to come pay attention to me. I was at the track Saturday night, and this kid was like talking to his buddy, and I was like, and then I like looked at him, he stopped, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird, whatever. And like a couple minutes later, he comes over, he's like, hey man, I was at your event. That was one of the best times I've ever had. Thanks for putting it on. High five, walked off, and I was like, cool.
Fuck yeah.
Right? Like, feel good, living legacy podcast. A legacy item for me could be that event that lives on forever. And either way, I was the first guy that did it completely for free. Everybody else will have their like, well, we've done some free events. You didn't do it like that.
For sure.
You didn't completely 100%. You had somewhere where somebody had to pay, even if it was parking outside. I don't care. We didn't. Where I made money or could have made money is merch sales and VIP.
For sure.
I did decent on merch sales. I didn't do near as good what I wanted on VIP. But if that event turns into 5,000 or 10,000 people, then it crushes it.
For sure.
So
at the same price.
Same price, free. Well, and everybody's like, well, what if it was $1 to get in? Then I don't get to market it as a free car event.
Yeah, people want free.
I lose the whole stick to the event. I lose the best marketing strategy in the world
for $2,000 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the $2,000 is probably not worth collecting $1 from everyone to not say it's free.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I gained in not doing that was way more beneficial than not.
Yeah.
So many people come in the gate and they're like, well, why did I need tickets? And the data was what I wanted more than anything. So what if somebody now, okay, I did that for BuildTuneRace. It grew. It got me noticed. I got to put on an event. I had fun with my friends and all that type of stuff. What opportunities can that open? And that hit people. Like some of my other buddies were at a different event, which is big race in Georgia that a lot of people go to. They're like, actually, some guys were like, oh, that's happening by you guys, right? Like the people that it hit the radar of, like that's what you try to do, right? Could it go viral? Yeah. Could it be something? Yeah, absolutely.
For sure, yeah.
So like
you get a couple other big names, you start collaborating, like sky's the limit.
And that's at the backside of the event is 5,000 people come. Now can I invite 4 or 5 million follower influencers to come have fun with their cars? They're gonna get a video. I'm gonna get a ton of views on my event. But I'm also going to bring in 5,000 people. They're going to sell a ton of merch too. They make money. I get a ton of attention. I make some money. Everybody wins.
I'm in. I'll sponsor it next year. Call me.
So and that's the whole deal. Yeah. So and I got to look at some things because costs go up and different things. So I'm like, okay, to commit like day after I was so dead. I was like, probably not again. And then everybody's positive and all that stuff. Shit. And then 3 days later, I was like, A week later, maybe.
It's like childbirth. You forget like how shitty it was, you know.
Get me back till January and it's cold and I just want to go play race cars with my friends and I'll probably do it different.
For sure.
But like, will I learn, change different things? Yeah, absolutely. But like logistically, that event, because then I had everybody, well, what if it's just stupid? Like, it's Pablo. It's going to be bad. Like, people are going to be there. Like, it's going to, are you going to have extra security? Are there going to be police? It was the most chill, relaxed, easy, fun environment. Like, not just because it's mine. Like, I had so many people come to, like, there wasn't one issue that we even worried about like
There's nothing to fight about. You know what I mean?
And like, what if they're sad about that? Well, they came in for free. They can leave for free.
Very true.
Like, if they're sad about it, what? Like, complain about something that somebody did for everybody for free. Please.
It's hard.
If you do that, then you're just sad about your whatever you got going on, and I feel bad about you not. It's all good. Like, I have fun with that stuff, but that's where I was like, no matter what, when it comes back out, it's gonna be so left field
and positive,
fun, and at the end of it, there was this girl, my buddy's like, if any mom comes out here and does a burnout, I'll give her $100. So she pulls out there, it's in the video, and I was like, I talked to her for a second, talked to her because she's got a helmet on. First time ever to the track in Pueblo. First time in a car trying to do a burnout, enjoying motorsports.
Yeah.
First time ever. First time to the track. So she's lived here who knows how long, and because the free event drove her to the track for the first time, which got her in the car to try to do a burnout. Done.
Yeah.
I could leave the event. I've tried to get more people into it. The kids are the best, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You get one kid that's happy to watch a car do a burnout. So sold some merch, Bernie, my burnout truck with BuildTuneRace on it. I go to an event the next week that we're actually working. It's a client of ours in it started in Kansas, and this little girl's walking around with my Bernie shirt on.
That's sick.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Win. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth it.
Yep. 100%. But could that event make me $50,000 in a day one day?
Probably.
Could.
Yeah.
Will I get there? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, even like you guys were talking about, if you were to sell it for $1, make $2,000. Cool. That doesn't even pay for the camera you're holding to vlog the whole thing.
Exactly.
All
the costs are
just crazy.
crazy.
So kind of moving forward, I know you had talked about where you kind of want the business, but let's put it all together. What are some of your goals moving forward, short, medium, long term? You and the business doesn't matter.
Short term, number one thing on my radar is get our part-time girl full-time.
Awesome.
It's as simple as that. I need X amount of clients to get her there. Mm-hmm. And then from there on, it's who else? What's the next step? I do a lot of automotive clients within mine, but I need an automotive person that really understands that to help.
Mm-hmm.
You call an alternator the wrong thing, it's black and white. You're not kind of manipulating some automotive terms.
No.
You're either correct and true or you're not. So the biggest thing with my business is if you go hire another marketing agency, they're going to put out a lot of very general marketing, salesy type crap. I want to brand your business. I want you to be one of the most well-known people in your industry in whenever amount of time, but you got to feed me the content. Mm-hmm. You got to be willing to do a selfie with the product in the background. You got to be willing to talk about it. I'll make sure it gets dispersed right. Or you can pay me to come help you film that stuff, but then there's costs there. So,
of course,
But there's so many of those companies out there that it's just checking a box. And I actually deeply have to start understanding their business and their products to do their marketing. Mm-hmm. So long term, I think sky's the limit. It really is. I'd hate to put numbers and stuff to it, but having multiple offices with 10, 20, I mean, if you're talking a 30-person agency, it's big business. Mm-hmm. But I'm also not saying that's not impossible.
For sure.
We ran some ads and gained some clients quickly. If we could hit that hard enough and big enough in the right way, it could go from 3 to 7 people to 10, 12 people quick enough. Sure. But in due time. When it makes sense, when it works, don't grow too fast, don't grow, but that's an ebb and flow, and that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm learning business, but I knew that this would work. It's working, and it will continue to work because everybody has to. It's a necessary evil these days, social media and marketing and all that stuff. It is long term, but I mean, literally, I guess probably having the machine built to where I get to play and try all the things that I see and want to learn about to figure out how well those work to help other businesses implement. So I get the creative freedom.
For sure.
Would be the long term of have the business big enough to where I can go real creative freedom to then take that data and implement it across clients so then they win too.
For sure.
And that would be the long, but I mean, I would love to see 5 people in, I don't know, go another 5 years if we have 5 employees. Yeah. I mean, the amount that it takes, it starts to become real big business with the amount of people. It doesn't take, because one person can take care of quite a few people, or one graphic designer can create a lot of content for one business. But for most businesses to go hire a graphic designer at, whatever you want to call it, let's call it $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, they're not going to do it. But they can hire a company that they get a portion of that person.
It's perfect.
So that's the long-term plan.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I feel like you said, nothing's impossible because you're living proof that nothing's impossible.
Yeah. Well, let's try it.
Let's do it.
See. Yeah.
And then we do have a reoccurring question on the show. You might know it. What do you want your lasting legacy to be?
Man, I don't know yet. Mm-hmm. I want it to be that whatever I put out on the internet, and that's a big, one of the greatest things with YouTube and all the content I'm putting out, is I can go back to my first video and people way beyond when I'm gone will be able to see what I did as long as YouTube's around, or whatever digital form they take that video and transform it into and all that type of stuff. But Morals, value, doing everything, like not getting over on anybody, not trying to make anything extra. I'd rather leave money and time and energy on the table than for one person to walk out there and be like, he screwed me, like type of a deal. You know what I mean? But like with the free car event, that's could be a legacy item of like, he helped grow the sport of motorsports.
Sure.
Like free car event, if the right thing with enough money behind it and everything hit right, it could be like a monster jam in the future. It's
Absolutely.
a festival.
Yeah.
It's an EDC for cars.
For sure.
Unfortunately, the EPA is not looking so great on some of those things.
Yeah.
But who knows? But living legacy is just, I was me and I was true to myself and I did what made me happy and I enjoyed my life. And for me, you know, not trying to impress somebody else or do something else. It's, I wake up every day, be happy, and hopefully bring a lot of value to a whole bunch of other people as far as the business side of things go.
For sure. Well, heck yeah, man. I'm glad we had you on. I knew we wanted to have you on, and I just, you know, scheduling is a nightmare on our end. So
no, it's all good, and I
Yeah.
appreciate the opportunity. And like this, if anything you guys do or whatever, I'd love to have you a part of my stuff, your stuff, whatever.
For sure.
I mean, it's,
we're game.
yeah, man, I can't wait to hopefully do this in a few years when you guys are way bigger and I'm way bigger. And
Absolutely.
we're just talking about this
Mm-hmm.
in a few years.
Remember when we had that ugly white table for that podcast?
From
Me too.
IKEA.
From
with this
IKEA.
hole in it right here.
Brad dropped his monitor on it.
That's the game, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, whether the algorithm likes it or not, links below for everything he's doing, everything we're doing. We upload videos every Thursday on YouTube. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. Good night.